Okay, so are you ready to go even deeper than asanas and pranayama? We're about to dive into the world of mudras and bandhas.
It's amazing how these practices, some as simple as just like, a hand gesture, can have such a profound impact on our energy.
Exactly. And it's not just about energy flow either, right? Our source, this educational PDF on yogic practices, claims that mudras and bandhas can even impact specific glands and organs.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating stuff. Think of it like this. We're going to unlock these secret codes within our own bodies.
I love that. By the end of this deep dive, you'll have a solid understanding of these techniques, how they work, and why they matter.
Consider this your cheat sheet to navigating a world that's often shrouded in mystery.
Okay, so let's start with mudras. I think most people, when they hear that word, they think of like hand gestures in yoga.
Right, and they're definitely a big part of it, but mudras are so much more than that.
So more than just hand gestures. What else is there?
Well, the word mudra in Sanskrit actually means gesture, mark, or seal. And it's all about influencing the flow of energy in the body, especially within the chakras.
So we're talking about using specific positions, not just of our hands, but potentially of our whole body to shift our energy.
Exactly. And while hand mudras are the most common, there are also face mudras, postural mudras, and even lock mudras. It's like a whole secret language of energy.
Wow, I'm already intrigued. Our source even points out that there's, a bit of debate about how many mudras there actually are.
Right. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika, for example, describes 10 mudras, but the Garanda Samhita describes 25.
25, so we're just scratching the surface here.
For sure, but the underlying principle is the same. Mudras are tools for influencing our energy and well-being.
Okay, so they're not just abstract concepts.
Huh.
Our source actually highlights how mudras can have tangible effects. He talks about them connecting to the brain, impacting sensory organs, glands, veins, tendons, you name it.
Yeah, and it gets even more interesting when you consider the five elements: air, fire, water, earth, and ether. Mudras are believed to help balance these elements within the body.
Ooh, that sounds pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Have you personally felt the power of mudras in your own practice?
Absolutely. I find Gyan Mudra, which we'll talk more about later, incredibly helpful for focus and mental clarity, especially during meditation.
Okay, that's great to hear. So we've established that mudras are more than just hand gestures. Let's talk about those hand mudras specifically. Our source describes our fingers as electrical circuits, each representing a different element and controlling the flow of energy.
Yeah, it's a really helpful way to visualize it. The thumb represents fire, the index finger is air, the middle finger is space, the ring finger is earth, and the little finger is water.
So by bringing these fingers together in different configurations, we're essentially creating these different energy circuits.
Precisely. And to help you understand this, I can actually demonstrate a few hand positions as we talk about them.
Yes, please. That would be amazing.
All right, so let's start with Gyan Mudra, the one I mentioned earlier. You simply touch the tip of your thumb to the tip of your index finger. Keep the other three fingers extended, but relaxed.
Got it. Thumb and index finger together.
Right, and this is known as the mudra of knowledge. It's said to enhance concentration and brain function. It's even been linked to potential benefits for conditions like Alzheimer's disease.
Wow, so it's like we're sending a signal to the brain to just quiet down and focus.
Exactly. Now, let's try Vayu Mudra. For this one, you press the tip of your index finger down with your thumb, kind of folding your thumb over it gently. Keep the other fingers straight.
So we're using the fire element of the thumb to control the air element of the index finger. Interesting. What does that do?
This mudra is all about balancing the air element in the body, and it can help with things like flatulence and joint pain, even potentially Parkinson's disease.
It's amazing to think that such a simple gesture could have such, far-reaching effects.
It is. Ready for another one?
Absolutely, keep it coming.
All right. This one is called Surya Mudra. Place the tip of your ring finger at the base of your thumb, and then apply gentle pressure with your thumb on that ring finger.
Okay, so using that fire element thumb again, this time, to press down on the earth element ring finger. What's the reasoning behind that?
Surya Mudra is said to reduce the earth element within the body, which can be helpful for weight management, appetite control, and even managing excessive sweating.
Interesting. I would have thought fire would make you sweat more.
Yeah, it's about finding balance. Sometimes reducing one element can help regulate another.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've had mudras for knowledge, air, and reducing the earth element. What about increasing it?
For that, we have Prithvi Mudra. You gently touch the tips of your ring finger and thumb together. This mudra is believed to be good for, those who are thin, dealing with ulcers or burning sensations.
So Prithvi Mudra is all about grounding and stabilizing.
Precisely. Now, how about a mudra for strengthening your life force energy?
Ooh, I'm always up for more energy. Tell me more.
Then Pran Mudra is for you. Touch the tips of your little finger, ring finger, and thumb together. This one is said to boost immunity, help with heat stress and inflammation, even sleeplessness and high blood pressure.
Wow, that sounds like a super boost for your overall well-being.
It is. And if you're feeling a bit dehydrated, Varun Mudra might be helpful. Just touch the tips of your little finger and thumb together.
So, similar to Pran Mudra, but just using the water element fingers.
Exactly. And it can help with dry skin, blood disorders, and of course, dehydration.
This is fascinating. It's like we have this whole keyboard of energy at our fingertips, and each keystroke is creating a different effect within the body.
I love that analogy, and it highlights how mudras can be tailored to such specific needs and intentions.
Okay, we've covered a lot of hand mudras already. I'm starting to see how each one really targets a specific element and has unique benefits. Okay, so we've explored this fascinating world of hand mudras, but, our source also mentions another category, asana mudras. These are mudras performed as postures.
Yeah, it's kind of like taking things to a whole new level, right? It's not just about the hands anymore. It's about aligning your physical body with specific energy flows.
And the first one we're diving into is Mahamudra. The name itself sounds powerful.
It's considered a pretty potent mudra. Our source describes it as sitting with legs extended, folding one leg, and then pressing the heel of that foot against the perineum.
The perineums, that's the area between the genitals and the anus, right? What's the significance of that point?
In yogic practices, this pressure point is believed to be very important. It might sound a little unusual, but it's thought to stimulate specific energy channels.
Okay, so you're pressing your heel there, then what?
You bend forward, grasping the big toe of the extended leg. Inhale deeply while raising your head and gaze at the eyebrow center. You also engage Mula Bandha, an energy lock we'll talk about later.
Wow, so it's like a combination of physical posture, a specific gaze, and an internal lock. A lot going on. What are the benefits of all that?
Mahamudra is said to have a wide range of benefits, from improving digestion, helping with skin disorders, to neutralizing toxins, even straightening the spine. It's also believed to enhance concentration.
It's quite a list. And speaking of the spine, the source mentions something about pranic energy flowing between Muladhara and Vishuddhi chakra during Mahamudra. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. So Muladhara is the root chakra at the base of the spine, and Vishuddhi is the throat chakra. Mahamudra is believed to facilitate the flow of prana, or life force energy, between these two key energy centers.
So it's like creating this energetic highway between the base of the spine and the throat. What does that actually do for us?
Well, this free flow of energy is essential for overall health and well-being. Think of it as optimizing your body's energy system for, peak performance.
Makes sense. Okay, what's the next asana mudra we're exploring?
This one is called Viparita Karani Mudra. It's a bit more challenging physically.
Challenge accepted. I'm ready.
Okay, so you start by lying on your back and slowly raising your legs up to 90 degrees. Then, supporting your lower back with your hands, you use your arms and elbows for leverage to raise your body even further.
So it's kind of like shoulder stand, but with legs straight up.
Yeah, that's a good way to visualize it. And one key detail, you hold your breath as you raise up into the final position.
Hold your breath. Why is that important?
It's believed to enhance the flow of energy and the benefits of the posture.
Interesting. Okay, so what are some of those benefits?
Viparita Karani Mudra is said to stimulate the thyroid gland, balance the endocrine system, may even help with issues like piles, hydrocele, and hernia.
Wow. The source also mentions counter asanas being important after this mudra. What are those and why are they needed?
So counterasanas are basically poses that help, neutralize any potential strain or imbalances created by a specific asana. So after Viparita Karani Mudra, you'd want to do a pose that stretches in the opposite direction, like Matsyasana, fish pose, Ustrasana, or camel pose, or even Supta Vajrasana.
So it's like a reset button for your body, making sure everything stays balanced.
Exactly. All right, ready for a mudra that might make you giggle a little?
Ooh, I love a good giggle.
Yeah.
Especially when it's good for me. Tell me more.
This one is called Ashwini Mudra, and it involves repeated contractions and relaxations of the anal muscles.
Okay, yeah, I can see where the giggling might come in. But what's the purpose of that, really?
Well, as strange as it might sound, Ashwini Mudra can be incredibly beneficial. It stimulates the abdomen and pelvis, improving digestive health, and potentially even enhancing sexual health.
I guess it makes sense, right? You're working those muscles, improving blood flow, stimulating the whole area.
Precisely. It's a simple but powerful technique. So we've explored hand mudras and asana mudras. Ready to move on to the face?
Facial yoga, let's do it.
Okay, so remember, these are mukh mudras, not just funny faces. They're just as intentional as the other mudras we've discussed. The first one is Shambhavi mudra, which involves gazing at the eyebrow center while in Gyan mudra.
So we're holding Gyan Mudra, the mudra of knowledge, and focusing our gaze on the space between our eyebrows. What's the point of that combination?
Shambhavi mudra is considered very important for meditation. It helps stabilize the mind, enhances concentration, is even said to lead to higher states of consciousness.
Wow, that sounds powerful. Does it actually do anything to your eyes themselves, or is it purely energetic?
It's believed to have both energetic and physical benefits. The focused gaze can help strengthen the eye muscles.
Interesting. Okay, what's the next Mukha Mudra we're going to learn about?
This one is called Kaki mudra, and it's a bit more visual.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
You sit in a comfortable meditative pose, focusing your gaze on the tip of your nose. Then you purse your lips into a beak shape, kind of like a crow, and inhale slowly through that beak.
I am definitely picturing a very serious yogi with a crow beak right now. What's going on energetically when we do that?
Well, Kaki mudra is believed to strengthen facial muscles, nasal passages, the entire respiratory system, really. It's also said to, refresh the skin and cleanse the chakras.
Wow. So it's a beauty treatment, a respiratory workout, and an energy cleanse, all in one.
It's a great example of how these mudras can work on multiple levels: physical, energetic, and mental. They're not just isolated techniques, they're tools for overall well-being.
Okay, so we've gone from hand gestures to full body postures to facial expressions. It's amazing how many ways there are to work with our energy. But we've got one more category to explore, bandhas. What are those exactly?
Bandhas are often described as energy locks or body locks. The word bandha in Sanskrit means to hold, tighten, or lock. And they involve contracting specific muscles to control the flow of prana, or life force energy, within the body.
So it's like building these little dams within your energy channels, strategically directing the flow.
That's a great analogy, and the purpose is to redirect that pranic energy into the Sushumna Nadi, the central energy channel that runs along the spine. This is considered essential for spiritual awakening.
Ooh, spiritual awakening, that sounds pretty intense. What role do these bandhas play in that process?
Well, they can be powerful tools for accessing deeper levels of consciousness. By controlling the flow of prana, we can influence not just our physical body, but our mental and spiritual states as well.
Okay, I'm ready to learn about these energy locks. Which one do we start with?
Let's begin with Jaladhara Bandha, also known as the chin lock.
Chin lock. I'm already feeling a stretch in my neck just thinking about it. Is it as intense as it sounds?
It's not as intense as it might seem. To do Jaladhara Bandha, you sit upright in a meditative pose and inhale deeply. Then, while holding your breath, bend your head forward so your chin rests in the notch between your collarbones.
So, essentially, tucking your chin to your chest. What's happening energetically when you do that?
Jaladhara Bandha is said to stimulate the thyroid and parathyroid glands, regulate metabolism, and activate the Vishuddhi chakra, also known as the throat chakra.
Interesting. I didn't realize the throat chakra was connected to those glands. What's the significance of that connection?
Well, the throat chakra is often associated with, communication, expression, creativity. So by stimulating this chakra, we can potentially enhance those aspects of ourselves. Jaladhara Bandha also prevents the upward movement of prana.
Why would we want to do that? Isn't upward flowing energy usually a good thing?
It depends on the context. In practices that focus on, calming the mind and conserving energy, preventing that upward flow can be beneficial. It's about finding the right balance for your specific needs.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the next bandha we're exploring?
This one is called Uddiyana Bandha, which translates to flying up lock.
Flying up lock. That sounds a lot more dynamic than the chin lock.
It is a bit more active. To practice Uddiyana Bandha, you exhale completely, pulling your abdomen in and up as much as possible. Then you perform Jaladhara Bandha, the chin lock we just discussed.
So you're creating a vacuum in your abdomen while tucking your chin. That imagery definitely lives up to the name flying up lock.
Exactly. And this practice is said to have a number of benefits, including stimulating the digestive system, helping with constipation, strengthening the abdominal muscles and immune system, and even balancing the mind and emotions.
Wow, it's like a total abdominal makeover with benefits that extend far beyond the physical.
It is quite powerful, and it's believed to be particularly beneficial for the pancreas, can even be helpful for managing diabetes.
That's incredible. Okay, so we've locked the chin and flown up the abdomen. What's the final bandha we're learning about?
The last one is Mula Bandha, also known as the root lock.
Root lock, that sounds grounding. What's involved in this one?
It engages the perineum muscle, the same area we discussed earlier with Maha Mudra. To do Mula Bandha, you contract and lift the perineum muscle inwards and upwards.
So it's like a Kegel exercise, but with a spiritual purpose.
That's a good way to think about it. Mula Bandha is believed to benefit digestive and reproductive health, as well as, relieving pain for women during menstruation.
Those are some impressive benefits. The source also mentions something about Mula Bandha, preparing the body for spiritual awakening. Can you explain that a bit more?
Of course. So Mula Bandha is associated with the root chakra, the foundation of our energy system. By activating and balancing the root chakra, Mula Bandha helps to, ground us, create a sense of stability, and prepare us for the upward flow of Kundalini energy, which is associated with spiritual awakening.
So it's like laying a strong foundation for spiritual growth. It seems like a lot of these practices work on multiple levels: physical, mental, and spiritual.
You're absolutely right. And it's important to note that these three bandhas, Jalatara, Uddiyana, and Mula, can also be combined into a powerful practice called Mahabandha, the Great Lock.
Ooh, the Great Lock. That sounds intense. I'll have to save that one for another deep dive. But for now, I think we've covered a lot of ground, or should I say locked a lot of energy.
We have. It's been quite a journey through this subtle world of mudras and bandhas.
Wow, it's amazing how much we've covered just in this one deep dive. We've gone from simple hand gestures to facial expressions, even internal locks. And it's all designed to work with our energy in very specific ways.
Yeah. It really speaks to, the depth and sophistication of these ancient practices. They offer such a nuanced approach to understanding and influencing our energy, which can have, profound effects on our well-being.
It really does feel like we've just scratched the surface. There's so much to explore within each mudra and bandha. I mean, it can be a bit overwhelming, to be honest. Where would you suggest someone start, if they're feeling inspired but maybe a bit intimidated by all this information?
That's a great question. I always recommend starting small and simple. Choose one or two mudras that resonate with you and just, make them a regular part of your daily routine. Maybe try them before meditation or during a moment of stress, or even just as a way to connect with your body.
So it's not about mastering everything at once. It's about finding a few practices that you can really connect with and integrate into your life.
Exactly. And as you become more familiar with those practices, you can gradually expand your repertoire, explore other mudras, experiment with bandhas. Just see what feels right for you.
The bandhas do seem like a bit more intense. Any advice for someone who's new to working with those, energy locks?
It is important to approach bandhas with awareness and caution. I mean, they're powerful techniques. And it's essential to listen to your body and, never force anything. Find a qualified yoga instructor who can guide you through the proper technique and, ensure you're practicing safely.
Right, yeah. Safety first.
Absolutely. And it brings up another important point, too. While we've talked about, a lot of potential benefits of mudras and bandhas, it's crucial to acknowledge that there can be contraindications as well. Some mudras may not be appropriate during pregnancy, for example, or for people with certain health conditions.
That's a really good reminder. So before you start experimenting with any of these techniques, it's always a good idea to consult with a qualified healthcare professional, especially if you have any, underlying health concerns.
Exactly. It's all about practicing responsibly and with awareness.
So to sum it all up, mudras and bandhas are powerful tools for working with our energy, but they're not one-size-fits-all solutions. Find what resonates with you, practice safely, and remember, the journey is just as important as the destination.
Beautifully said. It's about exploring, experimenting, and discovering what works best for you on your own unique path.
And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into mudras and bandhas. We hope you feel inspired to explore these practices and unlock your own energy potential. Thanks for joining us.